Let go.
Man, this is Charlotte, like at the courthouse. This way you gotta come to get your background check for your concealed gun permit. So the first step for concealed gun permit, you gotta go and do the class. This is where this guy shitted at. A human guy let some human shit on that stuff and piss. It stink. This is the only way I gotta take to get to my car. I gotta go down them steps, around if you in Charlotte, to the sheriff's office to get your background check. You gotta do the class first. And once you do the class, they give you a certificate. And some places require a little form of filling out where you went to get everything done. Here in Charlotte, they just want your ID and your certificate. So I had to drive all the way back home just to get my damn driver's license. I had a passport, because you know passports, they give you a little hard copy ID too, like a regular ID. But they didn't want no passport, no social security card, none of that. They want a damn, your real ID. Like it's called real ID nowadays, where you got the little star like your ID, your driver's license ID. Yeah, don't forget, I believe you got a year to 2 years to get your background check done. After that, if you don't get it done for the year, 2 years, you got to go and pay for another concealed class again. So I finally got my joint done, and it's supposed to normally, it depends on your county or state, normally take up to, what is it, 2 to 3 months to get your results back. But now they saying because of the COVID, it's taking from 5 to 6 months. It's gonna be a while before I get my damn card in hand for concealed gun permit. It's gonna be a while when you're gonna do your background check, unless your background for some reason comes back earlier than that. Then you gotta check your email. They'll email you or mail you something saying that everything's been approved, and you'll end up getting your little card in the mail, your concealed card, to where you can start buying guns from your state. I don't think you can get guns from all states. Hello everybody, good morning, good morning. Somebody had asked me to do a video on the process of what I had to do to get my concealed carry and gun permit. I haven't actually got it yet. It's like a process. It's definitely a process when you go applying for this, because this is not something that is to be taken lightly, since anybody can't just have a concealed carrier's gun permit. The first process to start off first is, you know, you thinking about it. You like, wow, you know, I don't feel safe. So much things going on. Maybe your house just got broken into. Maybe you work a job that's kind of unsafe. Maybe you live in an area that you just feel like you should be able to carry legally, or you just trying to follow the rules. So once you follow the rules and you get it to where you able to just think, okay, I feel comfortable to have a gun in my possession. So after you think about it, now you like, you know what? It's time for me to do something about my safety, because I'm not just going to leave it in law enforcement hands to protect me. There's a situation where you might not have 5 minutes, you might not have 2 minutes. Some instance, law enforcement don't even come, depending on what neighborhood you live in. Like, I'm just going to make this decision to where I'd rather be judged by 12 and then carried by 6. So I'm going to get a gun to where I can legally carry it, and I'll let the courts deal with that, and most likely I should win, because if I'm doing everything that I learned from the class and everything that I continue to research through gun laws for your states and this and that, then I should most likely win the case for stand your ground laws or self-defense. That being said, after you figure out that that is your interest and that's what you want to do, now you have to figure out, okay, what is a concealed gun school in my area? See, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. The one that I got good reviews on is called Thin Line Red Firearms. See, my hun, he went there, and that's where he got his concealed license through. He gave them a pretty good rating, so I'm like, okay, if you went there, I'm gonna go there. A lot of times, everything nowadays, you have to go online and register and make an appointment, and this particular gun place was only $50 for the class. I went online, I registered for my appointment date. I paid, it wasn't $50 online, and once I paid the $50 online, like prior to your appointment, they will either email you or they'll call you to confirm that you're still able to make your appointment. And Red Line Firearm, they actually worked with me because I had missed, I think I was running late, and I had called, and they was like, well, don't worry about it. You know, people are slowly coming in, so just come on in. Don't worry about it. We'll still let you in. So I'm like, oh, wow, that's so sweet. Thank you for looking out for me. Because some places, if you don't get there on time or before time, they shut the doors, and they like, okay, you late, so you cannot come in. But not this place that I went to. And let me see, I think that place, it's not in Charlotte, North Carolina. I think it's a good 40 miles from Charlotte. It was worth the drive because I had a great experience with them. You pay your registration fee, you get your appointment, you set up everything, and then you go to the class, and it's only a one-day class. I don't know if that's for every state, but here in North Carolina, you only have to do a one-day class. We did the one-day class. With the one-day class up, they hand out this book here in North Carolina, and this is pretty much what they base the class on, is a lot of the things out of this book. They give you this book, you have an option at the end of the class to pay $5 to keep it, because this got a lot of current like gun laws, like things about how to handle your gun and everything. So I decided to purchase it because I'm always about having read material so I can learn about anything that I'm in dealings with. Basically, this came about, they said in 1995, a North Carolina Justice Academy task had developed a training to teach people about concealed carrying. Came up with that. And then pretty much what this book is going to cover is going to show you how to, like, you have to demonstrate proficiency and safe handling of a handgun to include loading and unloading, the storing and securing and firing a handgun. That's what you will be learning and also performing in a class. And then you got to identify places that handguns may not be carried, even if the individual has a concealed carry handgun permit, because every state have their own laws. And New York is definitely a place to have their own laws. So just because I got my concealed gun permit here in North Carolina, that don't mean every single state I go into the same laws apply. Some states don't even want you to carry a gun through their state like that, or if at all, regardless if you got a concealed gun permit or not. So you got to know your laws, and that's what this class is supposed to cover. Also help you identify parts on a revolver or a semi-automatic pistol, and then the class will also help you demonstrate proficiency and marksmanship and fundamentals. So through the course of the class, like, you want to do the lecturing part first. After you do the lecturing part and everybody gets comfortable learning about gun parts and learning about the gun laws and talking about gun situations or what can be classified as a self-defense or stand your ground, after you do all that lecturing part, then they get all the class together and they ride up to this little gun range they got. The place where I went, they had like an opening, and they had like some dirt walls, and in the dirt walls they had some engraved like shooting parts, and they had probably about, I'd say about 6 or 7 engraved like dug in holes. So that's where you had to practice shooting in. Had it to where either you can bring your own weapon or they would give you the rental weapon that they had of their own. I didn't feel safe bringing my gun, so I didn't bring my gun, use their gun. Some places, some concealed carrying gun classes, you are able to bring your weapon to do the target with, or you can use their weapon because it's just a target. Actually cut a human silhouette cardboard box out, and they'll put that cardboard human silhouette in the engraved dugout spot. They're gonna line, like, you're gonna be standing in line waiting your turn to walk up. I'm probably line up about 7 people along the engraved sites with the silhouette sitting in there, and you either gonna get your rental gun or the gun you brought. They're either gonna give, you can bring your own soundproof muffs or your own little like soundproof little plugs. If not, if you don't have it, they'll give you little plugs. So you put your plugs in. Each person is going to have an instructor, and the instructor going to get behind you. They're going to tell you how to stand and how to hold your weapon. And once you hold your weapon, they'll count down, and once they count down, then you start aiming towards the silhouette. Now you don't want to aim all off the place. You want to try to hit at least dead center in the middle of the silhouette, but just make sure you hit on the silhouette. If you hitting like above the silhouette, don't you ever point over, because then they'll feel you just unsafe. You can hurt somebody. You just pointing anywhere. You need to hit your silhouette. Not a contest. They just want to know that you got some proficiency in shooting your weapon. It will also explain the provisions under North Carolina common and statutory laws in which the use of deadly force or physical force will be just. That's what I'm saying. They would teach you what is justifiable force, Because if somebody breaks in your home, you're able to defend yourself, but you're able to shoot them without them turning around, then it's justified. But if you shoot somebody while they're running, you're going to get in trouble because you're never supposed to shoot nobody in the back. But there's other laws and so many in-depth laws that I'm not going to go into because I have not like really memorized all the laws, and I'm not a lawyer either, so I'm not even going to give legal advice. There's so many different just situations or different laws in general. Let's cover the book. You go in there, you know, you handle the gun or the rental gun. Once you do all that part, you got to go back to the class, drive down back to the class. You got to take a test. And they make it so easy to take the test. Like if you somebody and you're not good at taking tests, don't worry about that because they make it so easy. Why I said they make it so easy to take the test is because before you take the test, every answer that's on the test, they will actually sit down and go over it question by question until, I ain't gonna say until you get it because they don't have that kind of time. Go over it in such an elementary way that is really not possible for you to fail. Everybody that was in my class, we got 100 on our test. That's how easy it was. And it's not like a super long test. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 20 something questions, I believe. So once you finish taking your test, you take your test up to the teacher that taught the class. He'll sign off on it. And they usually pre-fill out the certificates. Like they usually pre-fill, like they have you like sign your name on a certificate and then you hand it in at the beginning of the class. So when you pass your test at the end, you know, you take your test up, they check and make sure you got everything right. And then once they know that you got everything right or you pass with satisfactory score, they hand you your certificate. So now you're done. You're done with the class part up to, don't quote me on this either because I forgot. I think it's either a year to 2 years to get your background check. After you register to take the class, it don't end there. Now you got to find your local sheriff office or whoever does background checks for carrying conceal permits. And here in Charlotte, North Carolina, it's the sheriff office in Charlotte, like this is Mecklenburg County. So in Mecklenburg County, it's the downtown Charlotte office that does the background check. Since all the COVID and everything's going on, you definitely have to go online to get an appointment, and these appointments is not plentiful, so you got to catch these appointments as you catch them. If you catch the appointment, you have to actually pay $100. It's $100 for the background check and it's non-refundable. Online, you book your appointment, you pay your $100, and for some reason you don't make your appointment, guess what? You just lost $100, and that happened to me. I actually made an appointment prior to this appointment today. I had to work and forgot that I had an appointment, so I just flunked $100 just down the drain. You know what? I made my appointment this time. I got the soonest appointment I could find. I'm not missing this appointment for nothing because I'm not losing another $100. Appointment come, you get there. Of course, you gotta go through the metal detector because this is a court. This is a form of a courthouse or court legal system. So you go through the metal detector. They still doing the distance, you know, safe distancing. You better go in there with a face mask. You gotta do the 6 feet safe distancing with your face mask on. You go in there, wait your turn to go in. And what you're gonna need your certificate. And this is here in Mecklenburg. I don't know about any other states. You're gonna need your certificate and ID. That's all I gave the lady. I actually forgot my ID because I had left it home. I couldn't find it. She actually made me turn around, go all the way home. And they actually let me come back in because my appointment was for 8. But by me leaving my ID home, that put me off about an hour and some change. But they still let me back in because the Mecklenburg County Sheriff Department closed at 4. Let me back in. So once I came back with my ID, the real ID, you know, driver's license, CDL, regular ID, long as it's your ID. You go in there with your real ID and your certificate. Those are the 2 things you gonna need. So when you go in there, you give it to the lady at the counter. She's gonna write some stuff down. She's gonna keep your certificate, give you your ID back, and then she's gonna send you next door to do your fingerprints. You go back out, wait in line again, do your safe distancing on the 6 feet, them little round circle thingies with your mask on. And then the guy gonna come on, hey, I'm ready for you now, come on in. Hey, you can put your stuff over there. So you put your stuff down, he grab all your hands, he like, give me your thumb. So you give him a thumb, you thumb that, and then you give him, then you start with the right hand, you start thumbing that, then he grab all this, and then he put that down, then he start doing one by one by one, and then he do the same thing on the other hand, he put all that down, then do it one by one by one, and then, okay, you got 5 to 6 months to wait before we know anything, and we will let you know, we'll keep you posted. Look out in your email, or look out in your mail, and we'll let you know when this has been completed. That's all in a nutshell how I went about getting my carrying gun concealed weapons permit. I haven't got it yet, but I'm waiting on it. But you can do it too. And like I said, I live in North Carolina. I don't know how other states is going about doing this, but I'm pretty sure it's similar measures. But if you're wondering what to do or how to go about getting your carrying, what is it, carrying concealed gun permit? That's kind of a tongue twister. Carrying concealed gun permit. You can't say that fast. Carrying concealed, nah, I ain't about it. You know what? Yeah, that's how you go about it, is all I gotta say. So if you're thinking about getting a gun or being able to purchase an unlimited amount of guns in your state, or sometimes other states, whoever honors your carry and conceal card, this is how I did it, and it's probably similar how you're going to have to do it. So, all right, guys, you guys have a lovely day, and I love each and every one of y'all, so deuces, baby.